Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And there's a paid request for Lucas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are in the info box. I also do have a Cash App because people have asked about that. I'll get to it as soon as I can. It'll be for a movie review, a topic, or random thoughts, commentary, reaction, video game playthrough, whatever the case may be. I'll get to it as soon as I can. And Lucas wanted me to talk about X-Men Origins Wolverine, and the reason I'm kind of hesitating there because this is not a good film. Is it the worst film I've seen? No. Honestly, I would probably rather watch this than The Wolverine. I know people say that film is tremendously better, but I almost want to say that's worse because you could have fixed the problems this film had, but then it had its own problems. And while I don't like this film, at least I gotta say there's a couple things I don't mind. Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson in the beginning, those little moments are fine. I don't mind Kevin Durant, the guy who plays the Blob. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind that boxing scene. Yes, it was only there just as filler to get to the next scene, but some of the banter between Wolverine and the one guy played by will.i.am, I didn't mind. I thought there was some fun stuff to that. The action bit with the helicopter, more so with the truck and the truck flipping over, it's a cool looking bit there. I do like Liev Schreiber. I think Liev Schreiber does a good job as Sabretooth. I do think he did a better job than, like, Tyler Mane looked more ferocious, but Liev Schreiber actually had more to do as an actor, and I think he did a good job. It's just the script, the director, of course the politics of the studio, that all screwed things up, and we got a film that just... Honestly, I think the biggest crime of this film, it's very mediocre with some very shoddy special effects and a lame script. It's a very mediocre movie. Again, I can't say this is one of the worst comic book films. I know my friend Mike OCB says this is one of the worst comic book films. Disappointing? Yes. Disappointing? Yes. I can't say it's one of the worst because I've seen Elektra and Catwoman, and I'll take this movie over Thor Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, The Eternals, Shang-Chi. A lot of films today I'd rather put this over, but I'm not going to say this is a good film. I'm not going to say it's an underrated film, because it's not. I know Lucas was going to ask, because he said in the... when you request something, you leave a comment. What do you think of this compared to the video game, X-Men Origins Wolverine? Because thankfully Lucas had me play that, which I loved. I only mentioned maybe one day to play that again in hard mode. I will love that. I love that game. It's much better than this. Now, granted, the game, there's not a whole lot of story, because it's like you have to see the movie to understand the story. So I wish there's a little bit more of that, but the violence, the action, how it's so much more spectacular, having the Sentinel aspect added in the game, how brutal and how satisfying, and I loved it. Love that game 100 times better than the movie. I had a much better time watching that movie. I want to say I had a better time watching the movie because I love movies, but I had a much better time playing that game and kicking ass as Wolverine than this. So I know movie-based games are usually bad rap, but that video game, X-Men Origins Wolverine, is awesome. It's a very fun beat-em-up slash, especially when you can know how to rip people's arms off and take heads off. It's so damn satisfying. So I love that game. Love that game so much. Played it on the channel once. It's on the channel. So Lucas says that movie... God, I keep screwing that up because I want to say the movie is better. But no, the game is way better. Because the movie, even when I first saw it, it was disappointing. That was my thought. I saw this in the theater with my family, my mom. My mom liked the film. I mean, she also likes the 2014 Ninja Turtles film. I love you, Ma. I disagree, but I love her. It's still Mom, but I disagree. But I do love Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman does do a good job in the film. But I guess there's like a strip writers deal strike again. Seems like there's one every 2 years or 3 years. You get Skip Woods, who's not that good of a writer. I think he lucked out on the film Thursday, which was one of his first films, maybe his first film. I think he lucked out. And he never could capture it again, because this guy helped write Hitman with Timothy Oliphant. And I forget what other movies he wrote, but they weren't that good. Skip Woods, Stippy the Peanut Butter himself. You know, maybe it could be peanut butter. So if you stick to something and go away from movie projects. Okay, just like the stick to the roof of your mouth and you don't, oh, got milk? Nope, you lost. Just like that one commercial where the guy, oh, you lost. He loses the money. Just like we lost our time and we lost some good films because you had this crappy white this guy, this writer. I try to say writer as in water and white boy, fuckhead. He's whatever it is. I don't give a shit. I'm tongue-tied, I'm dried out, but I'm drinking soda instead of water. The way the world is. This is infuriating watching this film. Again, it's not the worst film ever, but damn. This should have been so much more. The title, because, I mean, Fox... This is another example as to why Fox went into the toilet and got bought out by Disney. Did they make worse? Yeah. The Predator. Way worse. Some of those later Alien films, way worse. But a Wolverine film, as we've seen, can be a home run. We saw it in Logan. Yes, it's a very depressing movie, so I don't watch it a lot. But it is a very good film, and it's way better than this. It is a good film. I have, taste issues more so with that film. But that is a good film. Deadpool Wolverine made highest grossing R-rated film, over $1 billion. So that shows you could have had a hit with Wolverine, including an R-rated Wolverine. Even at this time, if you do it well, you market it well enough, it could have been a hit. But you didn't. Someone had a script that was much darker, more violent, but you decided to neuter it. Because it has to be PG-13 or no else. Which is funny, because some of your more successful X-Men films have been R-rated films. Deadpool, Deadpool 2, Logan, and Deadpool Wolverine. Go figure, isn't that ironic that some, not all, but some of your most successful superhero films, or maybe if you looked at the numbers, all of them, have been the R-rated ones. Go figure. Fox. But again, this type of thinking by Tom Rothman and all these people, these knuckleheads, helped you lose so much money you got bought out by Disney. Which sucks, because this is the company that did Alien, Aliens, Die Hard, Predator, Predator 2, Speed. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other topic. So you make it PG-13, which people who are fans of Wolverine did not want. Because that means it's already been messed with. It's already going to be neutered. It's not going to be the Wolverine that people want. They want to see the Berserker race. They want to see Unleashed. They don't want to see the claws dulled. You gave it a stupid title. X-Men Origins. Because you thought you were going to do this whole series of films like X-Men Origins Magneto. And now X-Men Origins, Cyclops, X-Men Origins, Nightcrawler. Well, Nightcrawler, that'd be X-Men 2. But X-Men Origins is a stupid title. It's like, we gotta remind people it's an X-Men movie. No, they know it's an X-Men movie. They know who Wolverine is. You don't need it. But it was their stupid marketing tool, and it failed. There's no Magneto movie. They put that in the, X-Men First Class or whatever. And this film probably made some money. But it cost $150 million. Made like $180 180 million US. Probably made around 300 and some million worldwide. So maybe with other sales, it technically made money, but barely. A Wolverine film should not be barely getting. As we've seen with Logan and Deadpool Wolverine later, it's a much better character than Fox even thought, apparently. And yes, I know at the time the film got leaked with unfinished effects, and the guy who, I guess he bought it off, I don't know who he bought it off from, but he leaked it. And then someone from Fox, funny enough, Fox News or whatever, like they wrote a review, and then that guy got fired. And the guy who uploaded, I think, got a year in prison. So I know they got downloaded, and people just say that's what affected the box office, but I think Fast 5 got downloaded more, and look how much money that made. So, no, they saw how crappy the film was, and I don't want to pay my money for it. Now, the film stars Hugh Jackman as Logan, of course, Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. They're brothers, which I guess was it that origin comic? I forget which comic that made them brothers. Some people don't like that idea. I don't mind it if done right. But the thing is, because it's a prequel, they're not going to kill Sabretooth. They're going to save him for later. Also, I don't understand how this Sabretooth becomes Tyler Mane. Like, how does this Sabretooth become... Because, again, the continuity in the X-Men films are as bad... No, I would say they're worse than Halloween films. Or as bad. Maybe worse. Because, no, at least... I don't know. They're, it's one or the other. As bad or as worse as the Halloween films. Because... Sabretooth looks at Logan, and they act as if they've never seen each other before. But yeah, in this one, they're brothers, and Tyler Mane now looks like Liev Schreiber. But yeah, it's the same realm. And they did in the X-Men First Class. Well, that's in the 60s, and he's now in a wheelchair. But here it's the 80s, and Charles Xavier is not in a wheelchair because you see him at the end, and it looks like Patrick Stewart, and he's walking. But then later on, that's been First Class. Well, that's the 60s, and he's in a wheelchair. But then these characters are like in the same place in the 70s, and was it Days of Future Past? They're in the same stuff, but it's different decade. But then Cyclops is a little kid here in the 80s. But then he's like a teen in the 70s. You're not supposed to think about it. And the Ultimate X-Men First Class is their own thing, but then later on it's Wolverine, and then we're going to retcon X-Men 3, so we fix stuff. I dare anyone to try to make sense of it's just all screwed up. Maybe that's why I can't really blame Deadpool and Wolverine because being so screwed up of a timeline, because the whole X-Men continuity is a damn clusterfuck of a timeline. So... And they're the same studio. But no one cared. It's so weird to me. Sorry about the throat clearing. Before I get further, the plot of the film. We first are in 1845 Canada. He seems to be sick. His dad is killed by this guy. The kid sees that his dad's dead, looks at the guy, bone claws come out, kills the guy, and the guy says, "He wasn't your real dad, I was." Him and his brother, Sabretooth, they run off saying, "We're alike, you and I, we take care of each other." And then we get to a pretty cool montage, where it shows the two of them, 100 years of wars. And it's a very cool opening to go from like this war to World War One to World War Two to Vietnam and that transition. Again, because of the rating, it's neutered. So even though it's war, it's more like war as heck. Now war is hell. So we have to neuter how violent these wars really were, because of the rating. Sabretooth is going crazy in Vietnam. He's about to do his Andrew Scott, to have a pair of ears around his neck as a necklace. And Wolverine, Logan, stands up for his brother, even though he knows his brother's doing the wrong thing, even though his brother killed someone. To be fair, I mean, look at people nowadays that will try to defend someone who screwed up, and they've only known that person for 5 years. Now, if you've known the person for, I don't know, 100 years, you're probably going to be even. If someone will die for someone, and die in terms of their public perception, even though the guy probably did something wrong or seems like he did something wrong, it's like, well, no, there's some other explanation. If they're willing to jump those hurdles, if they've known a person for 5 years, after 100 years, it's probably going to even magnified extensively. So they're at a firing squad, and then as soon as they get shot, boom, X-Men Orange's Wolverine, which that's a good way to open it. Now, before I go further, I never needed to know about the origin of Wolverine. I think that's one of the aspects that was disappointing about, you don't make a Wolverine movie. Why do we need to see the origin of Wolverine? I don't think that many people wanted to see the origin of Wolverine. I think more people liked the idea of being a man of mystery. We see glimpses, we see pieces, as we did in earlier X-Men films, but we didn't need to see more. Because at the end of the day, what did we really find out about his origin? He had a brother. He was part of a program. His girlfriend died. He got the Adamantium. He went to get revenge. He saved some kids. His girlfriend screwed him over, but his girlfriend did it to save her sister. And he fought Barakapool. If Baraka from Mortal Kombat looked like, Deadpool merged, and then he got shot. So it's like, he's part of a team. His brother's an ass. He loved this girl. Thought the girl was dead. Tried to get revenge for the girl. The girl lied to her. Got shot in the head. Lost his memory. Like, this is all stuff you didn't really need to know in detail. You really didn't. So it's not that exciting or not that exhilarating of a story. And if you ask people, okay, after you saw the story, do you think the story is worth telling? I think a lot of people give you the answer of no. Wasn't really that worth of a story to tell. Maybe that's why the video game, like, okay, they don't have a lot of the story to this, but maybe it's for the better, because, it's not much of a story to tell anyway. But that, you're enjoying the spectacle. Here, there's not a whole lot of spectacle because it's neutered, and even though they spent a lot of money, a lot of the action scenes really don't stand up to snuff compared to other action films of that time, let alone afterward, or even before. So after the firing squad, of course, they weren't killed. They're locked away. Stryker, played by Danny Huston, who I guess is in that new Troll film, which has gotten nothing but bad reviews. And no, I've not seen it. He wants to get a special team together. What this special team... You think, okay, maybe we'll show a couple missions, and maybe with each mission, like we see what Wolverine can do, what Logan can do, and then with each mission, it's like, okay, we see how dire it is to be on this team. No, we show one mission. We maybe get the idea they've been on more than one mission, but they make it seem like this is the first mission they're on, in the way it's edited. Of the people, there's a telepath, There's Will.I.am, who can teleport. There's Wade Wilson, who's very good with swords and won't shut up. There's a guy who I guess is a good sharpshooter. There's the guy who will be the Blob. And they go in, they do a couple things. The one guy who's like I forget his name. He does this bad looking wire work where he like jumps over a fence, but you tell the wire work just, merry-go-round, flipped him around. Just looked really awkward. The guy would be the Blob. He puts his hand in the turret of a tank, and the tank blows up. Wade Wilson, which, I mean, it's cool to see Ryan Reynolds. It is interesting to watch this after seeing Deadpool 1 and 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, just to see kind of the first incarnation of Deadpool. And just, even when he's being mouthy, it's very reserved. Like, he's very serious about his swords. It's like, want a manicure? But even though he's being a wise ass, it's still much more reserved. It's still much more of a... Even though he's talking, it's still a much more quiet Wade Wilson. And for what I understand, the story behind that was... For years, Ryan Reynolds wanted to do Deadpool. And then they said, well, we're going to do this movie. We're going to have Deadpool in it. If you don't want to be in it, we'll recast someone. And so maybe his fear was, well, if they recast someone, that means if it's... Let's say it's successful. That means they're going to use him for movies, but I definitely want to be in this. I definitely want to do a Deadpool movie. So he did it, so he kind of forced into it. And then he's like, people don't go nuts about this. Yeah, no, you're not understanding. People don't go nuts as in they don't say this sucks. And then apparently after it's, oh, can we do reshoots? No, I'm doing a film. I think it's The Proposal. And then lo and behold, yeah. Other than like, and apparently like on the script, like there was no script. So it's like, Wade Wilson says stuff. So what does that mean? So I guess he made up the dialogue his own. Do you ever shut up? No, not when I'm awake. So it is kind of interesting to see much more reserved version of Wade Wilson Deadpool, but it's still not Deadpool. Like Will Wilson was fine, first baby steps, but then what they do with Deadpool later is really, really stupid, which I'll get to that. And he's just like with the swords, all with this heavy CG, cuts a. I mean, the idea he cuts a bullet in half and it swerves and hits two people, kind of a cool, goofy but cool idea, but nothing remarkable. And you see Logan do nothing during this whole scene. Like, this is your hero. Like, this is your lead. He's just staying around with the thumb up his ass. I'm like, why did he need to be part of this mission? He did nothing on this mission. Absolutely nothing. And then it cuts to... They're asked about this rock. Then we cut to another place where they're asking this guy about this rock. Logan says he's telling the truth. Sabretooth, everyone's ready to kill these people. Logan says stop. They hit him. The rest of the team kills everybody. Again, much more, serious, reserved Wade Wilson here. And much more villainous. And he just leaves. Like, you don't show him on the team. You don't show him do anything. Because it's neutered, you don't see any grit or any turmoil of the, the killings and all that stuff to really make it visceral, really hit the point home. And so he leaves. It's 6 years later. He's with this girl. He's a logger. And the girlfriend was there. I mean, was it Silver Fox? I think was her name. Almost said Firefox. That's a different thing. Silver Fox. And this dialogue sucked. The trickster and the moon and the spirit world and so Goo Choo got screwed. Yeah, with the Cucamonga kids. It's like, lady, I don't give a crap about your spirit world and your moon. We're the spirit world, asshole. I can't see it. I don't care. And almost as soon as we meet her, she'll die, or so you think, by Sabretooth. And they even do the whole thing where Logan grabs a girl and the typical streaming to the sky cliche. They even at the time, I remember people laughing in the theater because it was such a cliche. Like, he's that goes, yep. I'm like, okay, the streaming to the sky cliche. It just, even at that point, was deemed laughable because it's just been done so many times. So he finds Sabretooth. They really don't have much of a fight. Sabretooth throws him in front of a crappy looking CGI bus. It looked stupid. Wolverine gets like one or two hits, but then gets crushed by these logs and his bone claws get crunched. He goes to the hospital. Of course, he heals up. Stryker's there. I do like the little dialogue where he's like, "I'm coming for blood. No law. No code of conduct." Which worked well in the trailer and selling the film, but you're right, there ain't no damn I was gonna say, it is a lie. You're coming for blood? There ain't no blood in this movie, so it is a flat-out lie. You're coming for blood. What blood? Off-screen blood? There ain't no damn blood in the movie. They just don't go in the experiment and get the adamantium. And just for a big-budget film, I don't get why the effects are so bad. Even for 2009 standards, the effects should not be this bad. Whether it be him on the getting hit by the bus going over, or the claws coming out that look so shiny, they look like a bad toy. You know what? In fact, you know what the claws look like? They look like Toontown. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Like the when he had the gun and the bullets, they look like a cartoon. Literally, the claws look like a cartoon. Like Toontown is down his veins. They look bad. Even when you look on set, they look like crappy plastic toys. Whether because they're too shiny or they look awful. And like the other CGI, like he's fighting Gambit, and Gambit's on this thing, and Wolverine's like, and you tell they're speeding up the camera. It's like, it looked like fucking gerbil and Ritalin, just like it just looked stupid. It looked goofy. And then they, I guess, forgot he has super hearing, so they tell, which I don't understand. Don't they have mind control stuff later on Wade Wilson? So I don't know why they didn't just put him under and. Well, I guess they said anesthesia doesn't work on him, right? Well, he's been knocked out before, so they could knock him out again and put a mind control thing in his brain. Like they did Wade Wilson, but I guess not. For some reason. I don't know why. Because they do that at the end for Wade Wilson, so why didn't they do that for this guy? Or I don't know. Because there wouldn't be a movie. And then again, they forget that he has super hearing, so they tell, wipe his memories afterward. Why don't you, I don't know. Why didn't you say this before you did it, or say it out of the damn room or something? But he hears it, he escapes, and the escape is nothing. You think, oh, we're going to get the Weapon X and he's going to escape. He's not wearing the cool outfit with the visor. He's not going to town. It's like 30 seconds long, and then he escapes, and then his bare ass nakedness is out in the wilderness. It's so anticlimactic, and when he escapes. No. 30 seconds. Nothing to it. Lame as BS. That's what it means. Just disappointment. Gavin Hood, I didn't mention the director for a reason. Gavin Hood was not the choice for this. I know Hugh Jackman wanted him for some independent art house film he did. I know Hugh Jackman takes the character seriously, which I can appreciate that. But you need someone who to take the character seriously, but had at least one hand in the entertainment level. And this guy didn't. I think the only other film he did was like Ender's Game, and this was not the right director for this. He did not know how to handle action. He definitely did not know how to handle spectacle, and the script was lame. It was uneventful. The action scenes were very lackluster and just didn't work for this. Like I said, The Escape, perfect example of that. Should have been a lot more. Like angry, berserker, just going to town. If you can't do it R-rated, then take the page from X-Men 2. The mansion bit. They did in X-Men 2, take the page from that. But they didn't even do that. But it should have been rated R in the first place. But even then, X-Men 2 was not rated R. But people remember that bit. People don't remember the escape because it was only 30 seconds. There was nothing to the escape. There's no grit to it. So he meets this old couple. He looks at his claws. Really bad looking CGI. Just way too shiny. Again, looks like a cartoon. Ready for Toontown. That agent, who's a sharpshooter, he kills the old couple. Loading escapes from this barn blowing up. Good looking explosion. One of the few practical stuff in it. And Logan goes out with a motorcycle. I think the bit with the helicopter, the reason I say is like the only action bit I liked is because when it's up close with Logan, you could tell it's bad green screen. But there's some nice shots of the motorcycle, whoever's on it, going through the trees, and some nice wide shots, where he's going and the helicopter's following him. Those are some decent looking shots. When Wolverine turns around and hits the tire and the car flips, that's done practically, and nice wide shots to really show the scope of it. Even the bit where the helicopter blows up the truck and it flips and it makes him jump and go towards. Yes, it defies gravity, but it's a superhero movie. You're at times willing to let that go, and there's a certain sense of spectacle, and the CGI I could forgive because it's him on top of a helicopter, but I like the idea behind that scene too. A car blown up and the way it flips up, like it's driving, like, and then he's on top, and when it blows up, this part flips up so it acts like a spring from the launch, and then the fact he goes up and he screws up the helicopter blades, cutting the helicopter blades like a hot knife through butter. It takes the chopper down. Like, the idea behind that and some of the moments behind that I do enjoy. And is really the only action scene I would give credit to, really. In all honesty. It was kind of cool. Despite some of the up-close Hugh Jackman moments you could tell behind him is a green screen. I guess, like in the video game, he was going to stab the guy who's in the chopper, but because it's a movie, he blew up the helicopter behind, which looks cool for a movie. Walk away from explosions, which, I mean, his healing factor, sure, I could buy him doing that. It was a cool looking shot. It was a trailer moment shot. And then pretty much you have what you would call filler, but he needs to get to this island, so now he needs to go through a couple people. He tossed the Blob, who's a lot bigger. I like some of the banter Wolverine has with Will.I.am, some of the back and forth where they're giving each other crap. Like, you an asshole. He says bub. The guy thinks he's says blob because he's an idiot. They get into a fight at a boxing. Now, granted, it's not a lawn, but I mean, it didn't bother me. I thought there was some good stunt where he's hidden, and the guy who's performing for Hugh does some good flips I like the idea that the guy tries to do a headbutt because of adamantium. It makes him stumble, and then Wolverine does his big, like, elbow shot to take him down. Quick, but I thought it was a fun enough little scene. Then you have the scene with Gambit. I never liked this choice for Gambit. Was it Taylor? I always get Taylor Lautner and Taylor Tish confused. I want to say it's Taylor Tish. The guy was in Battleship. I think John Carter. Which that was a time period they tried to make him a big star, and it really didn't work out. I'd never care for his version of Gambit. I really didn't. With the way he looked, and it didn't really show he had power they put into the cards. It felt like he just threw the cards so powerfully, it pushed Wolverine back, but not the energy to make him explode. So I don't think they really did the card stuff that well. I did credit's due. I thought Channing Tatum and the outfit and the way he did I thought that was much better done in Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, the accent's thicker, but that's meant as a joke. I mean, that's why Deadpool makes fun of it. Who's your dialect coach is the Minions. Sorry, I haven't seen Sling Blade in a while, so it's probably putting on a bit more thick for the jokes, but I did like that more than this. This, I never cared for his portrayal. And like the fight with Gambit isn't really much, just Wolverine just thrown back. That was definitely a lot more extensive in the game, the fight with Gambit, because Gambit has all these guards, and the fight will go up to like this, I forget what you call it, these signs up in the high top of the buildings, and the signs are falling down, much more epic, detailed fight. And it's showing more of Gambit's power. But yeah, there's a lot of this, the way the action is handled here and the choices are handled here. Okay, we're going to get another fight between Deadpool and Wolverine. Between Sabretooth and Wolverine. And Wolverine stabs a few times, but then Gambit blows up the whole street. And that's where Wolverine does that stupid ass stuff that looks goofy as crap. It looks goofy because they speed up the camera. It just, like Benny Hill. You could put Benny Hill music on that. Or ideas where Sabretooth is working for Stryker to kill these mutants or grab mutants and get their DNA. We're going to put you in the pool. The mutant killer. What? The Deadpool. I'm like, okay, the Deadpool is either a really good Clint Eastwood film with Dirty Harry character, or it's those Deadpool movies. This ain't Deadpool or the Deadpool. It's the dog shit pool, but ain't the Deadpool. And even like when he gets to the island, it's just the fight with Sabretooth, lame. It's just a flip. We go through a window and the fight's over. That's it. 30 seconds, if that. That's where he also finds out his girlfriend screwed him over, but his girlfriend did it because her sister was in trouble, but she really did love Logan. And then when Logan hears her screaming, he goes back. That's where he has the 30-second fight with Sabretooth. It's only 30 seconds long. He could kill Sabretooth, but doesn't. Why she doesn't want him to kill Sabretooth, I don't know. He's going to kill again, and Wolverine's going to kill again. I don't know. Because the script says we can't kill him. And then Wolverine sees all the kids in jail cells, including Cyclops. I think Storm is there too. I could be wrong. Lets all the kids out. Takes the kids out. Tells them to go, because there's Baraka Pool. Remember Baraka from Mortal Kombat with the... And there's Wade Wilson with mouth sewn shut. Just Stryker finally found a way to shut you up. Yeah, because the merc with the mouth, what he's known for, yeah, you should shut him up. That makes a lot of damn sense. What? And I forgot that the guy who plays Deadpool, the close-ups are Ryan Reynolds. But all those fancy moves he does is Scott Adkins. I completely forgot. And there's footage you can find on YouTube where Scott Adkins, like, it's a rehearsal where let me show you the moves that I could do with this. And you see Scott Adkins doing these crazy moves. So it's Scott Adkins, who of course would be an actor. Accident Man 1 and 2, which are fun films. Close Range, which is pretty good. Undisputed sequels. Ninja Shot Over Tear, among others. I'm like, I forgot about that. They fight on top of a smokestack, which is a cool environment for a fight, but because this Deadpool can teleport, do all this stuff, he did his ass kicked, and he needs Sabretooth's help. Now they're fighting, even though Sabretooth wanted to kill him, but they're brothers and blah blah blah. Now they're fighting back to back and fighting. I like the idea of fighting a teleporting person, but at least in the game, you were able to kill him yourself. The fight was you and you alone. I'm like, okay, I did this supposed to be the ultimate mutant killer, but Wolverine is the best at what he does, and what he does is not very nice. This should be like, okay, who's the one guy to kill the mutant killer? The other most deadly mutant, Wolverine. But no. They have this stupid thing about brothers, and so they work together to cut Deadpool's head off. And something about how Sabretooth's like, we're brothers, I always have your back or something. I'm like, well, how does that lead into the first X-Men? And I'm like, so he's killed all these innocent people. He has killed other mutants who, like Will.I.am. So I guess Will.I.am didn't matter? Yeah, I murdered Will.I.am to the point I got his damn spine. But that didn't matter. I get that it's been his brother for over, 100 years, but come on. It was so lame. It was so stupid. It's like, well, we can't kill him because he's in future stuff, or maybe, I don't know. He's with the girl, sees Stryker, runs up to it like an idiot, no strategy, gets shot in the head twice. She tells Stryker to leave. Can't kill him because Stryker comes back later in X-Men 2. Brian Cox, that actor. So we can't kill. That's the thing. That's why I wish it was not a prequel. I'm not a fan of prequels, except maybe Missing Action to the beginning, and maybe there's one or two more. But if we're few exceptions, because with prequels, we gotta do this and this because we can't do this because it's gonna affect the later films, although it seems like they don't care about, but they do. It's just lame action scenes, lame set pieces, lame story. It's just a mediocre, lame movie. Hugh Jackman does a good job acting wise. The helicopter bit, I think there's a couple of decent moments in there. It was Liev Schreiber, I think, does a good job acting-wise. He's just not given the best script. Ryan Reynolds, it's nice to see him as an early Wade Wilson. Just what they do with Deadpool later is a damn travesty. I'm glad Ryan Reynolds got to at least live his dream. So that was cool. Part of me wonders that's why he got Channing Tatum as Gambit. Why he's really rooting for Wesley Snipes' Blade to get his final hurrah. Because it's like with this film and how successful it is, Deadpool Wolverine, he kind of saw his dream come true. That's why, if Ryan Reynolds doesn't do another, well, They don't try to do another Deadpool out of him because it made so much money, but if it never happened, I think he'd be happy where he got his Deadpool film twice, and he got to do a team up with Wolverine. That's been his dream. He accomplished those dreams. Now everybody gets to do that, and maybe that's the idea, and that's why he wants to try to do the same for others. Which, it's pretty cool. Pay it forward type of thing. Oh yeah, I forgot when the kids escape this awful green screen with like the jet, and then a very awful looking CGI chosen Xavier that looks like, I don't know, he's ready to sell baby food or something. I don't know what the it looks so awful and awkward, and he's also standing, which how does that work with the timeline? They don't care because that's when First Class had happened yet. Um, fuck. So awful. This is an awful movie. It is. Mediocre still means awful. Mediocre. Oh. You know what? I'll just say awful. I won't even say mediocre anymore. I'll say awful. It's an awful film that doesn't satisfy the action, the spectacle, the story, or the character Wolverine, other than Hugh Jackman's good performance. I would still rather watch this than The Wolverine, because I do not like that film at all. And that's even more disappointing, because you had the opportunity and you blew it even more. You know, fighting ninjas, and how the hell do you have them fight ninjas or samurai and make it boring? And they did. But, you know, what can you do? What will you do for a Klondike bar? What can I say? Thanks for watching. Take care. Yeah, the video game is 10 times better than this. Just much more satisfying, much more visceral, much more fun. The Sentinel aspect was a cool addition to it. They even brought an interesting element where the beginning and ending was like in the future, which could have been kind of a cool sequel. And would that involve him going back in time and saving everything? Like, sadly, we never got that sequel. Anyway, I'm talking about the video game. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.